I guess we'll start. No time like
Real
the
quick.
present or the past.
Okay, real quick. I'm
Here
at the
we go.
gym with. I'm at the. What's your
You're at
name again?
Winona.
Yeah.
I'm at the
I'm
Pizza
at a
Hut.
gym.
I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the combination Pizza Hut
Pizza Hut.
Taco Bell.
All right.
I'm at the Pizza Hut. What? I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell.
Wow, that's
They're closed. Why are you there? They're closed.
Hmm.
They've been closed for 10 years, man. Just let it go.
I mean,
The accident wasn't your fault. Ah, Mud babies.
I have no idea how to start this. Oh my god, what the heck just happened?
Plenty of time. Moving
Perfect
on.
imperfection.
Okay, well, welcome back to the Witching Hour Filler Podcast, the podcast that tries to fill up as much of your time in between the hours of 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hours may change depending on region availability. Results may vary. Please consult your doctor if you feel like we are not right for you.
Your doctor. We're taking witching hour filler.
Call him a loser.
Just going to sleep.
Okay. So I guess more than anything, sorry we kind of been a little bit under the radar. I would have went through and make sure I fixed our schedule to let everyone know we're not streaming, but we don't exactly have a community yet that cares enough. For one thing, and two, it's well, you know, life happens. I think life happened for I think most of us this entire time because SpongeBoy and Billy Stein had a thing that came up. I think Starshade had something that popped up for her, and I had something that popped up for me.
Everyone had their turn with the pop-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dealt with
Yeah, I
mine
did.
by crying.
So, anyways, it's been a week or two. I don't remember how long it's been. But
30 long years.
Yeah. Like always,
No,
I
it's
am your
fine.
host, Rise of Evil Link, in case you've forgotten, and we are joined by SpongeBoy, Corrupt Starshade, and Billy Steenstein, also known as
Yeah.
Resident Teenage Yokel.
There he is.
There he
Yep,
is.
there he is.
There
Get him,
he is.
officer.
After
Everyone say hi.
clarifying that he did not care about that title, I've decided to bring it back. Because it's
Steenstein.
kind of funny.
I don't care.
It's nice and
Wow.
quirky.
I
That
don't know,
gym was
yeah.
incredibly easy.
I think it's like kind of underhanded making fun of you, but at the same time, it's like so low key that you just don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Too busy playing his Pokemon.
And I'm too busy playing.
Pokemon.
And I'm playing this skateboard game,
Yeah.
the new one.
Weren't you doing a randomizer Nuzlocke too, Steenstein?
No, no, I'm just playing Emerald through again.
Oh,
For
okay.
The 17th time.
Yeah, they were, and then like I think he got like super upset or something. I was like, nah, I'm done. But whatever.
Stare but
Jeez,
fern.
no. Yep. Stare but fern. As fern is a hedge.
I mean, I don't think I've said this on stream before, but I will say this publicly. I worked an ITSC job, and we had like this little group chat where everybody, was able to send message to each other's. And I don't remember what the conversation was, but somebody had just typed to me in that chat saying, stare but fern. And ever since then, like, I've refused to say the other thing. Like,
Stare but stern.
that is the only way I will ever say that phrase from now on.
Stare but fern.
Yeah, there was also
The only
something
way
about,
to-
like, Apache attack helicopter being a gender. I don't really remember a lot of those conversations, but
Apache, jump on it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
that person specifically went from being an Apache attack helicopter to being a supply crate to being something completely else as their gender.
I am a staircase because people walk all over me.
I am a Kids' Choice Award because they're pointless and worthless in the
Yeah.
entertainment industry. They just look cool.
Stare but fern.
Yeah.
It's like
Please stare, man.
It's like
Stare.
thinking about like how like Oscar winning and like Golden Globe winning actors will like every now and then also have just like a Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah, I mean those things are popularity
Kids'
contests.
Choice
Just-
Award.
Yeah, like I wouldn't
Yeah.
even like expect them to keep that in like a trophy case. I just feel like that'd just be like on their coffee table.
It's a paperweight.
Yeah,
Before we get too further into the conversation, I'm just gonna pop in and say a couple real things real quick, and then I'm gonna start off on our random question of the day, or I guess of the evening, and then we'll continue throughout the
Right.
night as we usually stumble along these things, slowly adding more and more structure as we go to make it easier for everybody else, as well as making it more confusing for all participants involved. Um, so a new thing I'm going to start doing, mostly not for the podcast itself, but for our live streams. Because again, if you are watching this on YouTube later after the fact, we do live stream this both on YouTube and on Twitch. So feel free to join us. We live stream these on Tuesdays and Thursdays, real early in the morning. Um, Again, 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. So feel free to pop in, say a thing or two, ask us any stupid question you could ever think of, and we will try our darndest to answer them, or not answer them, or go somewhere else and pretend we never heard your question in the first place.
Yes, today is tomorrow in New Zealand.
Yeah. I think we've already had somebody ask whether or not mayonnaise is an instrument, and we've can't go any lower than that, to be honest. I mean, as long as you're not bringing like a fuck, marry, kill into the situation, I think we'll be good.
Is horseradish an instrument?
Let's not do that.
Yeah, again, we will try and answer any
Alright,
stupid
kill,
question
kill,
you might
kill.
have, but we also reserve the right to be like, no, we don't want to answer that question. Or some of us may answer it, and the other ones are just gonna be like, no, thank you.
Instead of fuck, marry, kill, let's play fudge, mayonnaise, ketchup.
Yeah. By the way, just real quick, JDHCTP told us good evening, boys. Obviously,
evening.
Starshade just got called a boy, so
Yep, have a boy.
Have a boy, friends.
yeah.
Yep.
It's me. I did it.
Oh yeah, and so before again, I'm getting off topic again, but we're really great at doing that, so we should not maybe.
Aw.
No.
Okay, so anyways, themes is what I was going to talk about real quick. So from now on, like, we're going to have a little bit of the theme of the day. Theme of the day may or may not matter at all, but it's just the kind of thing to get us fall back to and be like, try and maybe stay towards topic or motivate towards topic, whatever we really want it to do. And so the theme of the day is something about lemons. Essentially a reference to Cave Johnson. I mean, life happens when you're busy making other plans, and so we just need to take those lemons and throw them at Life's Manager.
Yeah,
I like
because we
it.
don't want them.
We don't want them. They
What are we
weren't on
supposed to do with
discount. They weren't on discount in the grocery store, and we
Yeah.
don't want them. They're too expensive.
They weren't on clearance.
Yeah.
Why would I buy lemons when I have perfectly good Sprite?
I mean, geez, if you want lemons, just drink Sprite.
Yeah, straight up. Want a Sprite?
I don't drink soda.
Well,
then
you
go
are a
straight-
deviant, so
Yeah. You're
we
a
don't
deviant,
care
so
about
go back
deviant
to-
opinions.
I'm a deviant.
Yeah, you're a deviant, so go back to your deviant art.
Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, now that we got the boring stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into our random question of the day and see where we go from there.
And then flesh.
Yeah.
Wrong direction.
I
Yup.
guess on a voting clip, zombie apocalypse or world with magic.
Magic.
2 votes for magic, 3 votes for magic. Okay. I mean,
Wait, question.
Who has
I haven't asked the
learn the
question
magic?
yet. I haven't asked the question yet, so hold your questions until after the question's been asked.
Alright, holding my question. It's getting heavy, so
Yeah.
hurry up.
Alright.
Because obviously I wasn't really for the zombie apocalypse, but we had it here. Okay, so moving on to this question then. Would you like a world with magic in it? Why or why not?
Magic is good, I
Steenstein
love
seemed
it.
really excited to answer the question, so
magic, man. It's amazing.
Yeah,
You never said what the limits were of said
No,
magic.
it's just
you just
a-
said magic,
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
world with magic in it.
which means I could do magic, and
Mhm.
I could magic protection, go space, stay space, bye.
No. It could be
Yeah.
anywhere from the bull that is Lord of the Rings magic to anything of like a hard magic system like Harry Potter. So
it's magic.
Literally,
I don't know if you know what literally soft magic and hard magic
Could
is,
you-
but
make
yeah.
magic. Could you make
Yes.
spells? Okay, yeah, the magic. That
Life
would
gives you
be so
lemons to make
incredible.
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
you
make
turn
lemons into
magic into lemons and lemons into magic. It's like how you use lemons as a battery. Nah, you don't use them
Yeah.
for science batteries. Use them for magic batteries.
Frick that magic.
In order,
Freaking
for,
frick.
in order for anybody to unlock their potential in this magic world, you have to take a bite out of a lemon.
Hmm.
Oh god,
That is
I need so
so-
many lemons.
But the
Sure,
lemons
no.
are only born from this universe's equivalent of a Yuga tree.
No, it doesn't stack, William. It's just that's how you
Yeah,
unlock
just
the
just
potential
one,
of it.
just one.
How would you train yourself in the ways of lemon magic?
I don't know. It's your world. You
Lemonade.
pick the rules.
You need to
Make
make that a
lemonade.
Minecraft mod, lemon magic.
Lemon
No,
magic.
lemonade would be like a potion that gives you your mana back.
Lemonade.
Yeah, that or like
I mean,
solid lemon.
lemonade's already like a PP restore or something like that, or it's an SP
Oh, it ma-
restored. Yeah, well, whatever.
Manonade.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
William
thought you-
William says yes. Or sorry, Steenstein says yes. Sponge. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Final answer.
Any supporting reason for that?
Well, Billy Steenstein already brought up the point of like it's kind of endless with what you can do with it. So
Yeah, I mean,
I think
and-
the only problem that I would have with it is like who all has it and stuff like that. Because obviously that's gonna get into like the wrong types of hands. As long as Magic Police isn't handled like it is in Fairy Tale, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the entire point of this question is just, would you like a world with magic? There is no other things besides that. Like I said, it can literally anything between low level fantasy to high fantasy, or it could be a hard magic system or a soft magic system. Again, I don't know if you know what those terms mean, but that's pretty much all across the board.
I can kind of think of what that means.
I mean, low class fantasy means like magic is a thing, but it's not like super prevalent. Like, you know, you spend years and years and years becoming like an ancient guru, and then like towards the end of your lifespan, you can finally use magic, or you just get insanely lucky and you just happen into magic.
Help if I drink onion and banana juice.
Typically, low class or low fantasy tends to be more like human based and less like elves and orcs and whatnot. High
okay, that
fantasy, high fantasy is like every baby and their mother and their dog can cast a magic spell of some sort. Like everything is magically inclined to some degree.
It's like
uh,
playing a D&D campaign, except everyone is wizard.
You're entitled to your own
It's more
magician.
like playing a game of like Elder Scrolls, because like everyone has magical aptitude in Elder Scrolls. It's just whether or not you actually take advantage of that.
Okay.
I wanna cast
My
fire.
question would be is if you could make them, and that's all I would care about.
I mean, fun fact about Skyrim, or just most Elder Scrolls games, is transmutation, the spell that lets you, change iron ore into gold ore, is just an apprentice level spell. So,
Talking like
pretty much anybody who doesn't have any magic knowledge whatsoever can learn transmutation and just create gold.
Why is the value of gold like not so much lower than?
Because Todd Howard is the answer to that question.
It just works.
But yeah, fun fact, their magic is like in lore wise something anybody could do. Everyone's magically
Right.
inclined, and some of the the most balance breaking crap in Skyrim are just labeled as apprentice level spells. So that means you don't even need to go to a college or even formally learn magic. You just need to pick up a book, slam it against your head, and congratulations, you can break economies. So,
Congratulations, you can now end the world.
yeah.
I can do that? It's that easy?
Yeah, and that would be
It's that easy.
that's essentially what high fantasy is everyone can more or less have access to magic. And then what was I saying? Oh, hard magic system means like, magic is very structured and very ruled. If you cast XYZ spell in XYZ position, you will always get that same spell to happen in that same way. It is repeatable, it is very intuitive, it's very structured in rules and very much like science, just with mysterious mysteries.
That's straight.
Yeah, and soft magic is more of just you have a staff and some sort of weird knowledge of the arcane, and you can cast spells, but spells don't always do what they do, but they do. And a very good example
Magic
is
does
Lord of the
magic,
very good
but
example
not
is Lord of the Rings. All the mages, like, you have no fucking clue what they're doing half the time, but they can
Yeah.
do stuff, and you just need to sit there and say yes. That is what, trying to remember names. It's been a while. Ganondorf.
Certain
Or
spell does.
Gandalf, sorry. Ganondorf.
Yes, Ganondorf.
That's my favorite Lord of the Rings character.
Ganondorf.
Ganondorf.
Ganondorf. That'd be great. That should be a
That's
Smash Brothers kid versus
yeah,
Ganondorf as Gandalf.
Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
that would really be overpowered, especially if it's like Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be great.
again, Gandalf the White, like, you have no frame of reference of how strong or how weak he is. He's just a thing that exists, and you're just gonna have
Yeah.
to be like, yes, he is a thing.
This is how do.
What was I think? Oh yeah, so this is basically what those terms mean, and like I said, it could be anywhere in between. Literally, the question is just with magic, and because it's a very simple question, I just wanted a little bit of elaboration from people. Moving on, Starshade, World with Magic, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Reasoning.
For one, I
Yeah.
want to do stuff. That's
Dude,
so
stop.
Wanna do
Yeah.
magic, dude.
I
Freak
thought you
you
were just gonna say one and then just stop.
One.
Very
One.
good.
Do stuff.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Two.
I mean, fair enough. Like, it is. Yeah, I don't think any of us are really against a magic system existing in the world.
Not really. It's
Yeah.
more so how it's gonna be handled.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the very nitpicky thing, and that's what we do here. We're very nitpicky.
yeah.
Me in general.
We're getting too lore heavy.
Yeah.
I just want
Well,
to
like,
be able to go to space
I mean, if
and
you
do
don't
magic and stuff.
like that about us, then you're listening to the wrong flippant podcast, because that's what we do.
I just want to set the world on fire and
Mhm.
I don't.
light a flame in your heart.
Take your
Although I
hearts.
don't-
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have any more to add on that, Katie, besides just 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just want to. I just want to.
I personally,
I just want to have fun.
Magic, speedrun to the end of the universe.
Mhm.
Put stuff off from high shelves because my cousins put them there.
I would very
Birds.
much love to just be a demigod that just has an army of golems, and just like this giant tower that just goes from like the base of sea level all the way up to outer atmosphere, and just do random crap all day.
I'd one up you by just making my little base area just
Yeah.
space.
Like I
You'd
would
be
literally
in
just
space.
eventually turn the entire planet into my tower, and then I
And
just
here
have a
I am,
tower
just
planet.
like I can make s'mores with my hands.
I could make s'mores with my hands. I mean,
I
like,
could heat up tea with my
And then I'm just like
fingers.
speedrunning.
I
to
never
the
need
end
a
of the
microwave again.
I just go like, hey, I'm just gonna murder lots of people by casting a thunderbolt everywhere. Or
And then you just see
hey,
me in the
today's
corner.
a lava day.
And
Lava
you just see me in the
floods.
corner, like just like using my firepower to just like heat up tea or something. It's like, Relaxing.
You're just Iroh.
I just become like a super young Iroh.
I can totally
That's
see
fine.
it too.
I would.
Yeah.
I hella would.
Brandon would just chill.
I would just chill. Like there'd be a whole bunch of chaos going on. It's just like,
It's whatever,
Yeah.
man.
And
Everything happens for a
JDHCTP
reason.
just popped in saying, I'd use magic to be kind of scummy and like put people under spells to have sort of preference towards me, like making jobs and loans easier. Essentially like a sort of like compulsion. Just not like super high level, like they do everything you say, just more of just, okay, yeah,
Don't
I like
do
that guy
it.
now.
God.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
me money, okay?
I mean,
sounds
to be
cool.
fair, like I don't think you're thinking that far into it. Like, you know, you could just make money,
Yeah, just make money.
I mean,
or
like,
just
yeah.
completely
Cool.
ignore
Just
all
try-
forms of government completely and just found your own independent country. Because
Literally, I said I'd make a base in space.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, you're
literally,
bored?
because
Make money.
if you're a powerful wizard, the only ones who could really screw you over are other powerful wizards.
And you would
And
make friends with
generally,
other powerful
most other
wizards.
wizards are probably not going to give a shit about what you're doing. And, like, so if you just go and, like, destroy a kingdom and just, or a country, even in the modern world, I mean, people might give you shit for it because it's the modern world and we give people shit for everything. But if you just go and say, you know, wipe out Mexico and then just found your own country on top of Mexico, nobody could do shit. You would
Yeah.
just now have your own country. Money is worthless, and you could do whatever the heck you want. The UN cannot say crap.
I mean, they can. It just won't have any worth.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously.
Like, hey, don't do that. That's
Hey,
rude.
don't do that, or we'll retaliate with nukes, and you're just like,
Cool.
reverse,
reflect.
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 Yeah.
Uno reverse card.
Or
Change
just
sides.
I open up a dimensional tear and now the nuke is just going to fall into one of your major metropolises. Congratulations. Would anybody
fun.
else like to try?
Yeah.
Well,
then-
you shouldn't do that because it's like, okay, well, I do a spell of cleansing, so my entire land never gets polluted with radiation now. It's like, but you can't. It's like, I'm a powerful wizard. I do whatever the heck I want. Hey, look, gold, just because I wanted it.
Quiet,
It's
we
not worth that
16.
much. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Lights a fireball. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. No, that's more of just like you take out just like a shard of glass out of your pocket. And it's like nothing special, just a shard of glass, and you're just like, this is worth a lot of money. And it's like, no, that's just
And
a.
it's
It's like,
not.
yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Yeah, it is. Look at this.
And oh, you're right. I see it now.
Oh, you're right.
Name
I,
your price.
Crying.
$1 million.
All I've got is 2 mil. I'll make that work.
So yeah, I
But you
mean,
owe me.
granted, like, again, depending on the world and system, like, it would take a lot of time and dedication to becoming, you know, a master wizard. But at the same time, you don't need to be an archmage to just screw up the world. You just need to be better than 60% of all other wizards in existence.
Well, you blew up a metropolitan city with nukes that you didn't send. You look tired. Come here, have some tea.
Yeah, because as long as, like, you are stronger than 60% of the wizard population, then the rest of the 40% probably don't give a crap about you, and the other 60% can't do anything. So,
They'll die if they try.
yeah, it's like trying to go against a god, or just a demigod, and be like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
And speaking of
And try to kill a human.
demigods, clean segue into the next topic I wanted to talk about.
On the moment.
Yeah, let's talk about Disgaea. Let's talk
Never played
about
it.
Disgaea.
Let's talk about
Okay, so Disgaea series, I think I have talked about Disgaea series before, but just a very quick synopsis. The Disgaea series, or I think it's Maki Sekai Disgaea, is the full title name in Japan. is a series of games from Nippon Ichi that takes place in Nippon Ichi's own personal like meta universe. If you thought Marvel Cinematic Universe was amazing, then Nippon Ichi did it first. They've been doing it for several years now. Um, so like
Gaia did it.
yeah,
This
Disgaea,
guy already did-
all of their games are interconnected, and the Disgaea series is a strategy RPG series. Um, the story, some people hate it, some people like it. I personally think it's like adorable. Like it's just anime enough to be like pleasing, but it's not so anime that it's like, oh my god, this is just crap. At least it hits that balance for me. Like they're not so trope heavy that it's just tropes everywhere. Like characters actually
Not
have
the
like
trope
layers
here.
of depth to them, and sometimes depth gets added onto them in like future games and whatnot. Um, but yeah, and like the main story of the game all takes place in the Netherworlds. So like Earth is completely removed from the situation. Celestia sometimes gets involved depending on the game, which is essentially the game's equivalent of heaven. But the rest of it is just the Netherworlds. The Netherworlds are an infinite universe filled with infinite everything. Um, there's different dimensions, different planets, and usually a ruler of a planet is called an overlord. You can obtain the overlord title by doing quite a lot of things, but generally it's being strong enough to beat down the crap of all other demons in that netherworld, or just to be universally acknowledged, which does happen because sometimes there are some peace loving demons like Totobane, where literally their ruler is like a little girl, and like she is not the strongest being on that planet. Not only is she a little girl, she is a little girl who had her parents killed because she wasn't willing to eat curry or something. And then like because her parents died, she ended up loving curry because of reasons. Anyways, that's not important. So that's just like a very quick synopsis of like what Disgaea is about. But the main meat and bones of Disgaea is the grinding. It is a very, very grindy game because in this game series and most of their games, the max level you can get is not 99, not 100, not even level 999. The max level in most of these games, if not all of them, is level 9999. And for the most part, in most of these games, getting to level 9999 is actually just the first step of making it an overpowered character. Um, and here goes into my segue of why I wanted to talk about this. So, for that past couple weeks, I'd been playing a lot of Disgaea 5, and before this, I had already completed the main story, so I was done with the main story, and I was into the post game. So I just kind of like moved on to other things. Like I still wanted to do the post game, but other things caught my attention. I think around this time I got interested into Persona 5, and that's kind of why I swapped, and then did not turn back. But recently I've picked up the post game again, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It took a while, and I finally got my characters to the max level of 9999, which took a little bit, but once you get one character to that level, like getting your other characters to that level is nothing. And then sort of the next bit of my journey of pretty much mastering out all the subclasses, and then taking my Sage character, because I really wanted to do the Sage character first, reincarnating her back to level 1, and then essentially what you'd want to do from there is you want to max out stat growth as much as possible, and then raise the character again, and if you do it correct, you go from anywhere of like 10,000 stat points over most of your things to 10 million. Which, I don't know about you, but that is a really big increase. So I did that. I got my Sage character, who is Sauce, all the way to 10 million stats, in all categories. Sauce is, a pretty powerful Sage. Except not really, because, while she can more or less trump through the entire main game, Land of Carnage or the Carnage Dimension, she is still really freaking weak. So then I started the next part of my journey in post game, and for Disgaea 5, the next thing you need to do is you need to murder the next game's main heroine, everyone's favorite Asagi. More specifically, all of her clones. Then you need to take her clones and torture them, and then extract all of their stats into magical extract, and then drink it. And then you become stronger. And you can do this for another 10 million stats. So I started working on this, and I got to about 15 million stats. And in the meantime, I was kind of bored, because doing this is a very grindy and long process. You need to kill a lot of Asagi. You don't technically need to do Asagi. Pretty much any character you can extract for stats. It's just Asagi is like the easiest character to grind. Technically, there's a really fast method using a witch build, but I didn't want to make a witch build, so I'm torturing myself with a sage build setup of, going into the stage and casting land detonation, which, 50% chance to hit all enemies on the map, but it does very little damage. Not that it really matters, because you can game the system and, make your sage have 6 turns in 1 turn, which is a lot of fun. You're just like, hey, I go again. Oh man, I'm out of moves. Hey, can I bring my maid onto the board? And I'm just gonna throw some afternoon tea. Get that delicious tea going. And oh hey, look, I can go again for another 3 turns. Okay, I'm done. Hey guys, do you wanna have a turn? And like, you switch over. All of the Asagis just that are left alive just move 1 space, and then you do it again, and then yeah,
And again, and again,
and again. Again, it's very grindy, but it is very, very fun. But in the meantime, I've been doing the other part of stat growth, which is, assigning unique abilities to my character, and essentially you can get it to 100% stat growth if you have your, unique abilities assigned correctly. So I did that, and now my character's at around 30 million stats. So I'm very close to what is considered the first soft cap for character growth, which is the 40 million stat milestone. After that, I need to start.
Usual soft cap. 40
Yeah,
million.
40 million
20
stats.
million.
The next thing you need to do after that, and this is literally like the worst part of grinding for max stats, and so that way you can fight Carnage Ball, the best villain in the entire game series, who is sometimes a giant Death Knight and sometimes a Prinny, which is just a tiny little penguin with the soul of a human being, typically a sinner, who is then forced to work out for their sins for the rest of their existences. Yeah. And it's generally like you don't know whether or not Ball is actually a Prinny or not, but he's either a giant Death Knight or Prinny, or sometimes both, or sometimes like neither. Like weirdly, it's very convoluted, but post game, very, very cool. But yeah, essentially the next part is grinding out equipment. So you need to get like your aptitudes up so that way you get more stats from the equipment, and then you need to run the equipment item world, because lore-wise each and every item has a world inside of it, and by killing the enemies you release the limit of its power. And yeah, it's the longest, hardest part, and I'm not going to describe it because it's very convoluted the way that system works, and not going to guarantee I'm going to be able to describe it well without making it somewhat entertaining. And it is all you need to know is you are going into an item, killing everything on the floor, going to the next floor, killing everything on that floor, until you get a certain bonus all the way to max, or at least the soft max. And then you need to go in and kill all of the bosses inside the item, so that way you can release its level to the max level, or the soft max level. And there's some other things you can do, but those are the main two. And yeah. I mean, this guy is a lot of fun, but it is not for everyone. And if you, I'll put it this way, if you like doing crappy repetitive tasks for the rest of eternity, then you will love the post game. Also, if you love watching numbers go up, because you go really high up. So much so that the numbers actually stop being printed after you go into like the thousands. Literally, once you start doing over 1,000 damage, instead of going like, oh, you're now doing 1,000,000 damage, or you're doing 1,000,000,000 damage, it just says you're doing 1,000k damage, or you're doing 100,000k damage.
It just bases it all off.
Yeah, you're doing it in
Thousand.
units of 1,000.
Should adjust that maybe?
Developers
Maybe
like,
just show the,
that
show the
number
whole
makes
number.
sense. It's like,
just show the whole number. Stretch it across the screen. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to see
yeah,
numbers.
I mean, hey, I have as much health in that game as I do in Skyrim on my main stage, but guess what?
Oh, yeah,
My
the
health
one
is
that's
actually
glitched.
readable on Disgaea because it was actually made for being red, whereas Skyrim it's like just this tiny print where it's just bare. Actually, I think I have more health in Disgaea than I do in Skyrim. I'll have
Oh
to,
wow.
yeah, which is ridiculous. And what makes it even more ridiculous is it's not enough. Like, I still get killed more than I care to admit.
It's just enough. I want more.
Um, as one of those things about Disgaea is you do get into it and you don't like the grindy bits, but you really hate having an overpowered character. Trust me, once you get to max level, you don't have an overpowered character. And even after you do the work, and there's stuff online and that they're saying like even with a party of maxed out characters with max stats, if you're going to be fighting Carnage Ball at 20 times difficulty, you're not going to, or not even 20 times difficulty, just times 0 difficulty. Without a strategy, like, you can still get party wiped really easily. And meanwhile, if you have a really great strategy, like, you can clear him with just 40 mil stats. So, which is good. That's what you want in a final post-game boss, is like, not having it be so easy that it's just a stat fest, but also not having it like so hard where even with post-game stats and like grinding it out, that you still can't beat the boss. Essentially, you just need to be clever.
It's an actual strategy game instead of
Strategy.
push character and other character. If weapon is different color, then it wins.
Yeah.
I love Fire Emblem.
Oh man, what everybody loves the weapon triangle. Weapon triangle, anybody? Hey, who likes the weapon triangle?
I'll take some weapon pizza.
I mean, to be
Here's
fair,
a triangle.
this guy does have a bit of the element triangle going on, but every character has different resistances and different strengths when it comes to different elements. So it's not like, fire element does well against this unit, but
Right.
yeah. Trying to remember, it's ice, fire, and I think lightning are the 3 elements.
Good element.
But like, yeah, it's still like you have to tailor it to each character, because even if you want to take advantage of the weakness, like, just because they can do that doesn't mean that there's like a triangle set up. You gotta actually be clever about it. Going a step further, there's also star magic, which, depending on the game, is pretty much like nobody has resistance to it, or they do have resistance to it. Um,
How
yeah,
are you gonna resist space?
yeah. Way to get a nose flare out of Steenstein there.
Yeah, I heard that. The nostril flare of total rejection.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I felt like he would have been happy about that, having like star mages be like the most powerful thing. As a matter of fact, you can even have
I didn't hear you.
oh, and even having like the most powerful class, like the subclass for that being like galactic mages, which is pretty cool.
What?
They put the Milky Way on you.
What?
Good.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
I'll show you. I'll give you screenshots later, Steenstein.
I am
Um,
the Milky Way. My milk is delicious.
I
I'm
am the Milky Way.
Mhm.
My
I mean,
Milky Way
let me
is
put it this
delicious.
way. I have a post game character that Steenstein would be really proud of, because my most powerful spell is Terra Star, which involves chucking stars at units.
Yeah.
And my Overload skill, which is like my special ability, is Comet Disaster, where I rain down comets on all units on the battlefield.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
mhm.
Let's do it every time.
that's very good.
Every
mean-
turn there will be death.
I mean,
By the
if
way,
every
the
turn I
entire
wanted
time
death. Oh yeah, go for it.
The entire time you've been talking about it, I've just been playing Pro Skater 1 and
Hmm.
letting the cars in a certain level hit me.
We just go.
I mean, you can stop me if I'm getting boring, but I like talking about this because it's just
Oh,
okay.
please continue.
But it's also
To be
like,
fair,
yeah,
doing that before you started talking about it.
Please continue talking about what you're talking about.
Wait, were you trying to get me to stop?
No?
No. Okay.
You-
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's fine.
Cards, that's fun.
I was just saying that that's what I was doing because there was a glitch that happened earlier and I'm trying to replicate it.
Oh, okay. So anyways,
Yeah.
like it is a very grindy game series, but very worth it. And if you don't like grinding, well, congratulations. It really does have good stories. A lot of the stories are pretty different too. Like the first story is literally about the child of an overlord going on a rampage against multiple people to become overlord, and then
Okay.
somehow
Doesn't have a
becoming
shirt on.
yeah, he doesn't wear a shirt. He wears a cape / scarf that turns into wings and a shield and
Escape.
Put a shirt on, hippie.
I did
Yeah.
not mean for that
I mean,
to sound like
let's
that
be
word.
fair. Most people in the disguise, most men, well, actually, I would say anybody in the disguise really doesn't wear shirts.
Nah.
Only the Nether Realms do. Shirts are illegal, don't you know?
I mean, even
did not.
Adele, the second protagonist, is like arguably not wearing a shirt.
Is she rolling in the Jeep?
I mean, he does have like it's essentially like a sleeveless tank top with a tie on it.
Ah,
Um,
that's close.
And then I don't remember what Mao is wearing, the third protagonist, but he's definitely wearing stuff. But anyways, first game, essentially child throwing a temper tantrum and figuring out what love is while becoming the overlord. Game 2, an entire planet, like a mortal human planet, gets teleported into the netherworld and becomes another world itself. And all of the
Sent to the
humans
fortress.
and all of the humans become demons, and then our main protagonist, who is half demon, goes on a rampage, and he tells himself he's not a demon, but he is totally a demon.
Him go.
You know.
Yeah, but he's still the hero, or at least that's what he tries to be.
He's the
Yeah.
protagonist.
Despite like dating the daughter of the person he's going out to kill, because that person went and teleported his world into another world. And then the third game, you have the very legendary story of Mao going out on an adventure to go kill his dad because his father stepped on all of his video games and video game consoles. So
There's no
he's
gas with.
yeah,
There's no male gas with game.
I know. So he's literally going on an adventure to beat the shit out of his dad because he stepped on his video games.
What a great game.
Um,
You ruined my games, now I will ruin you.
I know.
You old man.
Literally, the the fourth story has to deal with a sardine-eating vampire who is literally his class of prennies that he teaches went out and like graduated or whatever. Like he can't see them anymore, but he promised to get them all sardines. But he can't do that anymore because they're gone. So he goes on an adventure to find the class of pretties to give them their sardines. And congratulations, that's a premise of a game that I just said.
The heartwarming text.
Yeah.
I want to play.
I mean that
Yeah,
that
man.
one is the best one because then you get Fuka and Desco. Fuka and Desco are like the best characters ever. Because
Yes.
You
Yeah.
say dead?
so
That's why they're doing
Fuka is the how do I describe this? So essentially she's a human girl who died. And she was meant to become a prinny, but they ran out of stuff to make her into a prinny. So they just used the prinny skin to make her a hat and like a jacket and call it a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
and and she just refuses to be a prinny, and she also refuses to acknowledge that she is, actually dead. Like her entire right now is a dream, despite the fact that like in the Netherworld, like people don't age. And she's been there for quite a while. Like once you get to the fifth game, but she's still like, this is all a dream. Totally a dream. I'm totally not dead. And no, I'm not gonna be a flippin' prinny. Screw that life. Eternal servitude? Nah. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of everyone with my baseball bat.
Why would I want to be a pretty when I'm already pretty?
And then you have Desco, which is an android built by Fuka's father to help her take over Earth.
They're all humans.
Yeah. And Desco's entire thing is, well, she wants to be the final boss. Yeah,
Very cool.
it is
The
very
antagonist.
amusing. I mean, I will pull out the voice clips later for Starshade because it is. I just love her voice clips because she's just like, I'm one step closer to being a final boss.
Don't you want to be the final boss?
I know.
Yoda.
Not only that, like in Persona 4 in post game, you do unlock Desco as like a generic unit, so you can make mini Descos.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will make a pile of these.
Mhm. And then the fifth game is literally just a shonen storyline. You have person who, tragic and weathered backstory, going to fight an evil emperor who decided that there being separate netherworlds shouldn't be a thing, so he's gonna invade all of them and become the true overlord.
Overlord to overlord them all.
Yeah, the one overlord to rule them all.
The overlord of overlords.
The overlord of overlords. Which is weird because that's not how the title system works, but at the same time that's how it does work. Like if you're an overlord of overlords, like you essentially become like a tyrant overlord or like a super overlord or emperor overlord.
Overlord V2.
Yeah, or if you're Etna, you become
Overlord.
the gorgeous queen something. I have to pull up her title that she gets in Etna mode of Disgaea 1, but if
Reaches
Yeah,
level 16.
she
evolves.
she literally is like, I'm so strong now that becoming an overlord is dumb and just a weak noob class. So here's my new title, and everybody needs to abide by that. And it's like glamour queen something. It is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's Gerald's story, just shonen story protagonist Kun, and towards the end of the game he unlocks his inner inner super secret power that he was taught. And I mean, not much else said. I mean, the animation is cool for those attacks. A video Holy Water and Macrocosm are two attacks that I will enjoy watching and won't skip for the most part.
Your title can't be that bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah. I mean, and like that's just like the Disgaea series. There's a lot of other games that fit into the entire lore of the series that are just not called Disgaea, but they're other Nipponichi games. I don't remember their names off the top of my back, but you have Zeta, who is literally like a really stupid person who essentially his entire netherworld is bound to a book, and the book told him he was stupid, so he decided to burn the book, and like that started destroying his entire netherworld. And so in order to like fix his mistake, he bounds his soul to the book and he just becomes the book. And as a unit, he is literally the fucking worst because he can't move. All he can do is summon other people to do stuff for him. And if you're playing other Disgaea games and he's the book, like you can only move one space per turn. It is. Yeah. But he's pretty awesome. He's known as the Badass Overlord. You also have another Overlord, again from another game I can't remember, but this one's pretty much my favorite one. Her name is Pierre, or Pierre something. I forget the actual enunciation.
Her name is Puree.
Puree. I think it's something like that, but essentially her entire deal is like she wanted to be a holy maiden, but she kept on beating the shit out of like demon lords. So at least in one of the endings, literally she killed so many demon lords that they were just like, well, congratulations, you're now the overlord. And she's like, wait, fuck, what?
Excuse me? Wait.
Excuse me?
No, you got the wrong person.
So she literally goes from being wanting to be the holy maiden to immediately becoming a demon. And not just like any demon, she becomes an overlord. An overlord that's feared by a lot of fucking people because her entire deal is, every demon that's ever faced her has never lived the tale because she was a holy maiden killing demons.
Yeah. No.
Like literally one of my favorite characters, and not just because like how she interacts with other people, but just because of her story. Her story, which is canon to the Nipponichi multiverse. I think the story that's canon to the game is she does become a holy maiden or something. But as far as like Nipponichi is concerned, the only things that actually matter are stuff in the Netherworld. So much so that, like, lore-wise, there's only one Celestia and there's only one mortal world. There's a bunch of like mortal planets, and Celestia has like multiple dimensions, but it's literally just the one Celestia. The only one that gets the unique exception is the Netherworlds, because the Netherworlds is infinite planets and infinite dimensions.
Alright.
So, Hell's totally not overpowered at all, with infinite resources at its disposal.
How could Hell be any worse?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you were really worried about anything in Hell, then you need to be worried about the Carnage Dimension, because Carnage Dimension is where all the fucked up shit is. Like, all of the powerful stuff. Because there, even the weakest unit is on level with just your vanilla max level character. And they're not max level.
Nah, a place called Carnage, I would have expected like unicorns, rainbows, and apple pies.
I mean, there is that technically, because Carnage Dimension changes from game to game, but pretty much it's like an alternate dimension of all Netherworlds. So, like, but like time also moves differently. So essentially, like, sometimes the same events that happened in the regular Netherworlds happens in the Carnage Dimension, which is pretty much just story plot to be like, hey, this is why this mission is here, but harder.
Same thing happens, so it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Look at it, it's happening.
Everything that happens happens.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, it is that's where the truly scary stuff is, and I don't think anybody anywhere is truly ready to combat that because regular mortal realm can't even compete with the netherworlds as is, and Celestia, they do not have enough angels to keep up with anything.
Yeah.
Especially since like demons can profiliate as much as they want, and while angels can do that too, they only have one world, and the only other solace they can really get is like reincarnating regular humans into angels. But the amount of humans they get for that is pretty minimal, and they're prinnies, like because prinnies can either work in Celestia or the Netherworlds to pay off their sins. The prinnies in the Netherworld, they don't fight; they literally just do chores.
They do fight if you ask them to, but even then they suck at it.
Oh, they very suck at it. Disgaea D2, you had some celestial prinnies that you fight, and they're pretty garbage. Not as great as the Netherworld prinnies, where you could, ask them to fight for you, and I mean, to be fair, it's a garbage class, but nothing in Disgaea is truly garbage. If you really work at it, like everything can reach God tier. Which is what I like about the games.
Good if you try.
Yeah, like, and that's what I really do like about the Disgaea games, though, is like there is no worthless thing or there is no mistake you can make, because if you really wanted any unit to be God class, then you can. You want to have prinnies be God class units that just wipe out everything? Congratulations, you did it. Do you want to make just an overpowered Star Mage? Congratulations. That's not really all that hard to do, but you can do it. I mean, to be fair, because most of the time, by the time you unlock Star Mages, they're pretty much like a thing to have, and they're pretty OP, because as it turns out, it takes a really long time to unlock them for certain games. I do not mean to take up most of the time talking about Disgaea, but
it's fine.
I don't know. I've had Disgaea on the brain, and it's a game series I really like, and it fits in with the theme of something about lemons, because it's literally the entire game is you're dealt a certain hand, and how you deal with that hand is up to you. Like I said, like there is no truly worthless unit in Disgaea, and even in Disgaea 5, where unique units will have special unique abilities that you can't like move off of them, and some of those unique abilities are kind of garbage, and some of them are just meh. But it really just depends on usage. For example, like Christo. By the way, I know we have Cadivania coming up, but just let me get off my pedestal here, and we'll jump into that.
Fair enough.
Or was I? Oh yeah. So essentially, oh shoot, my brain just died.
Brain give up. No.
We'll recharge it.
Where was I? Where did I leave off on there? This guy overpowered like any. Oh yeah. So one of my favorite units to use, Christo in Disgaea 5, is literally his unique ability is he increases accuracy of adjacent units to 100%, which on its own pretty garbage, because it doesn't even affect himself, it only affects other units. And for the most part, like most of the time, you have a 99.9% chance of hitting anything anyways. So it's not like you really need him. But then the moments of when you're doing stuff, especially in the post-game for me, having that 100% guarantee hit, or even boosting a guarantee to the maximum of 50% for certain skills, is fucking huge. Like, really fucking huge. Because, especially when you're doing, like, wide area of attack skills, and you want to hit everything, 100%, you're guaranteed to hit everything. Whereas even if it was just 99%, like there is no guarantee that you will hit every single unit. You'll hit most of the units, but some of them won't die. And there you go. You have to waste a couple more turns doing it. So it really just depends on how you're using the characters and situations and whatnot. Anyways, I think that's a natural close for me. I'll step off my Disgaea pedestal and maybe drink a little bit to get my throat unparched. Corrupt
All right.
Starshade, do you want to take it away?
I can if you're done.
I am done.
Alrighty. I had this prepared. Like, I did research. I actually,
I mean, you had a lot of fucking time to do it, so.
like, I looked for stuff that would seem interesting,
Mhm.
and I found two characters because the first one, he's interesting, but he doesn't have that much on him, surprisingly. So I found a second character that was also like really interesting. So we'll see about her.
Mm.
Right? I
Man, lay it on
Gender-
us.
gender reveal party.
Take it away,
First
take it
Hold on.
away, take it away, y'all.
I just wanted to say one thing real fast.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I've been trying to replicate that glitch.
Mm.
I've actually been able to do it a few times now, and the last time I did it and it clipped me out of the map, when it brought me back, there was a text box that said, "Stop falling out of the level."
Even the games try to make you play
Wow.
better.
Dude, stop. Play the game.
Get
No,
back in line,
glitch.
you sheeple.
You
Haha,
sheep,
glitch go burr.
pretty much.
Become the sheeple you were always meant to be.
I still can't consistently replicate it, but after the game reprimanded me for trying, I give up.
I mean, that's just motivation to try harder.
And I was
True.
like, you can't make me fall out of the map again.
It does, and then just deletes
I'm
the
an
game
adult.
for you.
I can make my own decisions.
Uninstalls game.
Oh, I would be so pissed.
Hmm.
Didn't it take you literally like 3 days to download that game?
Yeah, because our internet speeds are like really garbage here, so yeah,
Yeah.
it took me like 3 to 4 days. I would be so upset if it was just like, nah, uninstall.
Sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
no,
Yeah.
for real this time.
So, you got this. This is the first Belmont. His name is Leon Belmont. Or, in Japanese, they pronounce it Leon Berumondo. I don't know. Did I do that right? Maybe.
Oh, that was Belmondo. That's where Belmondo came from.
Probably not. Yeah, it came from that, and it was just
I
like a
don't know if that was
really bad
racist or
direct
funny.
translation.
Both.
Kind of like all Kirby lore.
It was runny.
It's like my eggs.
So Leon,
Ew.
Make eggs.
life sucks right off from the start.
Mm.
Loses
Oh,
parents when he's young, both of them, and gets knighted at 16. So he's 16, a knight, which is a terrible like the last person you want to be a knight. A 16-year-old boy,
Child.
a child.
Literal child.
a
So he has
child.
this good
No.
friend
No.
named Matthias, Matthias, Kronkvist.
Matthias.
Kronk.
Matthias. Yeah,
Maddie.
Matthias
Call
Kronkvist.
him Madeline.
Madeline. So his friend, he,
Matchbox.
like that's his best friend right there. That's his best friend right. That's Leon's best friend. Mathematics.
We're just gonna call him a different M word every time.
Yes.
Okay with
So
that.
his dear lady, as the wiki puts it, his dear lady, which I'm just assuming means like fiance, gets like just kidnapped by this vampire named Walter Bernard. He's unimportant. Ignore him.
I said he's unemployed for a second.
He's unemployed. He's
I mean, he's a vampire, so he's technically unemployed. Because where is he gonna get a job?
He's in between jobs.
the Red Cross.
Calm down. He's trying. He's trying, man. He's doing his best
That's where he'll get the job.
at the Black Cross.
The Blade Cross.
Yep.
So, yeah, the Black Cross.
The Blade.
So Leon's like, yeah, I'm a knight. I'm cool. I'm 16. Getting this lady. She's my friend. She's the best. So is my other friend, Bartholomew.
Bartholomew?
So poor Bartholomew gets bedridden after losing his wife. Like he just goes to bed forever because his
That's
wife.
called death, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
So you know.
No. Give it a minute.
Oh.
So the monsters begin attacking, but the church is like, no, can't fight them. Kill the heretics. And he's like, no.
I'm not doing that.
I don't
And then-
know. Doesn't seem
and then-
good enough for me.
Yeah, what's in it for me?
To kill the heretics.
Mm,
Sounds hard.
nah.
I don't like killing bunny ticks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What do they ever do
Oh,
to
I-
you?
they killed my wife.
Oh, I didn't realize you were so-and-so Montoya.
The rabbit's dynamite.
No, his wife just gets, kidnapped by a vampire. And who tells him but his good old friend, Math. I'm just gonna call him Math.
Marge.
Matt.
homie.
They
Matt.
call him Matt. They call him Matt. Matt's a good
Yeah.
shortening of that
Friend
name.
Matt. Leon's friend Matt tells him that his fiance gets kidnapped by a vampire. So Leon's like, I don't want to be a baron anymore. I don't want this house. Get out of here. And he's like, I'm going into the forest. So he meets this alchemist named Ronaldo Gandolfi. Yes, his name is Gandolfi. I'm serious.
Good. It's a good name.
Yes.
So this old
His
like,
name is
Ayo, I know
Gandalf.
who kidnapped your wife. His name is Walter Bernard. Doesn't that sound like a nerd? You want to go kill that nerd?
What a loser.
I do want to go kill that nerd.
He goes up to him and shoves him.
Freaking kill the nerd.
What are you
You
doing?
kidnapped
Kidnapping
my
my wife, loser?
I'm a loser.
He's channeling his inner kill the wabbit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the alchemist is like, Ayo, I got this whip. You want it? It has the power of alchemy, and it'll let you absorb magic attacks. Leon's like, neat. So Leon goes through that castle, kill,
As you do.
like, defeats some guardians, kills a vampire that Walter imprisoned, Medusa, a succubus, because those are annoying.
Where did Medusa come from here?
Yeah, Medusa's in all the games. She's important.
She's just there.
Just like death. She just appears. For no reason.
Just like showing up, man.
She wants that participation award. Like
No,
she
she's trying to get royalties. What she's doing, because she's always has a very open schedule.
I mean, I figured it's more like that stamp situation where she just has like a booklet, so every time she appears in game, she gets like a new stamp. And she gets like X amount of stamps, she gets like free ice cream or something.
Yeah, she gets a free T-shirt.
It's a free t-shirt. I was in 50 Castlevania.
Yeah, sure you were. I bet you just ordered that on Amazon. It's like, I'll show you. Now I'll be in 100. I'll get pants this time too.
And to say I was in 100 Castlevanias to go with the shirt that says I was in 50 and the hat that says 25.
Yes. It's
All of which
like a
can be
separate
bought
work
at
program.
like the award store that they offer. They just don't tell you it
Yeah, you-
exists. But you're more than
you
free to
just
like
get
just go to the website and just order it.
you just get it like one day before it goes public.
Yeah, you just get it early. So you look cool.
Yeah. You get
So-
exclusive pre-order.
I keep doing this wrong.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We're being annoying. Tell
So-
us to stop.
No. So Leon, I'll just start talking over you.
Yeah, please do.
That works.
So Leon keeps going back to Ronaldo, talking to him. Ronaldo's like, hey, the whip's incomplete, the ebony and crimson stones exist, and my daughter became a vampire. Isn't that sad? Leon's like, yeah, probably. I'm gonna go kill Walter now.
Yeah, probably.
Might be sad. I'm not too sure yet.
I'm not too sure, I kinda miss my wife.
I gotta open my schedule.
So Leon goes to Walter, he's like,
We
hey,
have to
you
cook.
want to die? And he hits him with the whip, and the whip doesn't do anything. He's like, no.
Gosh, no.
It's like, hey, can we rain check? Maybe try this a different time?
Yeah,
I think this whip's defective.
yeah.
Gotta take it
It's-
back to the whip store.
And his fiance's like in a weird trance because of course the vampire did that. So yeah, Walter just leaves. He just goes home, and Leon's like, "Hey, can I have my wife back?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, you can have her." They take her to the alchemist's house, and they're like, "Oh, she got bitten by the vampire. She's about to be one. So you have to go kill the original vampire, but this whip's not strong enough." Well, you're gonna have to kill your wife and absorb her soul into the whip.
Oh,
Ah, yes,
it's like werewolf rules there.
of course.
We gotta like kill the original.
You gotta kill the original vampire.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's outside, who is the betrothed, and she's like, "Yeah, I heard everything. I know I have to die. Kill me, Leon." And Leon's like, okay."
No.
Kills it, transforms it into the legendary vampire killer because it's got soul of someone's wife in it. That's why it's so strong.
Well, I mean, how else do you get strong?
It's got a really high caliber soul.
Yeah. So they bury Sarah, her body, while her soul's in the whip, and go to defeat Walter because his name is dumb.
He reminds me of that
bored.
alchemist that made meth. So
And
go kill him.
he had to cook.
I don't like it. Leon's like, "Hey Walter, I'm gonna kill you with this cool whip I have." He's like, "Yeah, sure,
I-
whatever." And then with that whip, he destroys the ebony stone that was protecting the vampire and just kills him. And then Death appears, and he's like, "Ayo, taking this guy's soul,
Sean
put
King.
it in the crimson stone." He's like, "Isn't that neat? Isn't that cool?" So
Am I cool now, guys?
it's like, "Here, I'll put this soul in this soul. What do you think about that, Matt?" So Matt's like, "Yeah, the Crimson Stone's mine, by the way." And Leon's like, "No, what?" His friend was behind everything, using everyone so he could just get Walter's soul in the Crimson Stone, so that he could get his vengeance on God for taking his wife. So
But
he
he killed his
abandoned
wife.
humanity and defied mortal life. He even offered. He's like, "Leon, yo, you want to join me? You want to be a vampire forever with me in the castle? You want to put your vampire bed next to mine?"
Is it to find more wife?
I mean, no homo, but do you want to sleep together in the same coffin?
You want to put? There's only one coffin.
Someone coffin?
Oh, you look at that. There's only one coffin.
Oh no,
No,
there's
there's-
only one coffin.
No, there's one
Oh,
right here. Lights it on fire. No, there's only one.
there's no one.
Ah,
But
no,
Leon's
it's
like,
all-
no, I made a promise to Sarah. And Leon's like,
I can
Death,
change
you
my
do
name
it.
to Sarah.
Must stay faithful to my one true waifu.
Sarah.
So Matt's like, Death, you kill him, and he just leaves.
That's
So-
just like
Leon wins because of course he did. He's got his wife in a whip. It's like the best relationship. My wife is a whip, so I kill everyone else.
ripping hair.
I can
Yeah,
feel your
it's
whip beat.
Yeah. Getting his wife back is a whip, a work in progress. I had to make that joke.
No, I liked it. I wouldn't let you take it back even if you wanted to.
Leon wins, of course, and he's like, give Matt a message. The Belmonts are gonna destroy him someday. And then the castle begins to crumble, so Leon just sprints outside because he doesn't want to die. Not yet. He's got to make sure there's more Belmonts.
I must propagate my species.
And I got
Too bad I
Literally.
can't procreate with my whip wife.
my whip wife, my work in progress.
Yeah. I mean, she does whip her hair back and forth, though.
Yeah, she whips it real good.
I'm sorry. We'll go put ourselves in the coffin now.
It's fine.
There's
By the
only
way,
one,
that's the
though.
end of Leon's story because he was only in one game, and they don't
Which
even mention who he marries as his second wife.
Yeah, how do
Which
you
game
actually
was it?
like propagate after
Lamented
that?
in-
Because
That's where Trevor
yeah,
or Ralph Belmondo.
because obviously he does eventually have for children's, but after the way they left things off, I mean, unless you figured out a way to, you know, with the whip.
A new wife.
Yes.
He never
the whip.
actually married her. That was his fiancée.
Ah.
Well,
got a new
marriage
wife.
is just a construct created by humans.
Just
So
get a new wife.
He got a new wife.
You got wife.
You got a new wife.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, marriage don't mean crap.
Yeah.
You're right. It means poop.
I said
Oh, God.
crab. Don't mean no crab.
Oh. In that case, no, it means lobster. It's overly
Yeah.
expensive and not wholly worth it.
It depends
Yeah,
on whether
makes-
or not you like crab.
Eh.
Again, sorry. Just tell us to shut up.
He makes a cameo in the second season of the anime, where he's like a portrait on the wall, and Trevor's like, that was the first Belmont, the coolest one." 'Cause
What a great
Dracula was like,
cameo.
"You want to be a want to be a vampire? Want to be a vampire?" And he said, "Nah."
He's like, not about that life. I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't swing that way, bro.
Alright, understandable. Now I must kill you.
You
The
you shall
Belmont-
die.
You must die.
Destroyed him one day. This game took place in 1094, and it only took till 1999 for Dracula to actually die.
Yeah.
It took 900 years.
I mean, hey, I just like the connotation coming off of that is like he either somehow found a way to procreate with a whip, or he got a second waifu, and somehow
no,
she's cool with it. Like the whip is cool with it.
Yeah,
Maybe
what,
she
ga-
doesn't
what game was this, by the way?
Lament of Innocence.
Ah,
Is
I
it
know
that?
that. I don't.
Yeah. Actually, I forget what each of our things are.
Lament of Innocence is for the PlayStation 2.
Well,
I
we
can
did
do
the
that
we
one.
did the survey where like what Castlevania game were we?
Oh no, it wasn't a survey. It was just like one of those things where it's like,
Yeah, it was like the give your birthday month and year thing, and I think
month and
Brandon ended up with that one, but I'm not entirely sure.
Lament. It was probably Lament of something.
I'll do it again.
Speaking of birthdays, just real quick, somebody turned 22 about like a couple hours ago.
Man.
Man, look at him go.
Thank you. I can really
Yeah.
feel the excitement and cheers. I'm really glad I was alive for 22
Who did it?
years.
Who was it? Can't just leave that question unanswered.
I felt like it was very obvious. Me. It was me in the kitchen. Well, I don't know how me being in the kitchen helps me turn 22, but
The candlestick did it.
candlestick. Just
Candlestick
continue
of
playing
the
Clue
night.
until it makes sense.
It was the candlestick with Professor Plum. Wait, what? Giant
Okay.
sentient candlestick.
Well,
was
there's the
Better kill
lore of
Mr.
how I was created, everyone. I was created with Mr. Plum and a candlestick.
Also, happy beefcake birthday.
Yeah, thanks. I mean,
You're welcome.
to be fair, that's probably the most anybody's actually ever congratulated me on a birthday. So, thank you.
Good job. You were born.
More people that
Not a
weren't
lot of people.
family. I guess I should point at that because I do get quite a few family messages. But other people, not so much. I mean, not that it really matters as a whole thing, but I kind of have a stigma against it because school sucked, is all I'll say about that. Granted, it was
Yeah.
entirely my fucking fault, but at the same time, it's like no one wants to hear about you complaining about you not able to eat your fucking cupcakes, girl, because Honestly, somebody baked you cupcakes, but you're not allowed to have them because school confiscated them. Well, congratulations, no one made me anything. So, how do you feel about that now?
Congratulations on being born. Not a lot of people can say that.
That is fair. That is.
There's
100%.
probably a lot more people that weren't born than the ones that were.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you guys seen the statistics of? I'm sorry, we're totally taking away from your segment, but there's the entire statistics of how likely it is that you were born, and it runs down the entire thing, and it's like just this ridiculously low number, the chance of you existing, and it's pretty much the equivalent of winning the super lottery.
Ah,
Um, except for the entire thing is that the math is kind of backwards because he's working on probability math when technically you should be working with like determinism because it did happen. So you know, it's one of those weird things where we're like 100% chance of existing, but it's also a 0 point not trillion billion % chance. So that's fun.
yeah.
Anyways, you had a different character to tell us about, right?
Yes. This is a different timeline. This is Sonia Belmont. And in this different timeline, she was the first one in, this one. She was the first one in this one.
I already like her
Oh.
more. As long as her
Yeah.
wife is not a whip. I mean, you can only go up from there.
She was in the 15th century instead of, 1094.
Ah,
So, her game's Castlevania Legends. It was for the Game Boy, actually. It's very small and pixely, so it was probably very hard to tell that it was a girl.
ah. It's like how it was with Metroid
Yeah,
on NES.
but
Mhm.
you would be told it was a girl because there's actually like pictures, which are like the best looking sprites in the game of the characters.
Again, I'm
It's really
sorry to like take away from, but Metroid, yeah, that one's even funnier because in the first game you can play the entire game through as female No Suit Samus, and the ending like
Yeah.
it does, but nobody knew that until the second game, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue on. Sorry.
So, Sonia Belmont is born in Transylvania. She gets bored with the ability to sense the presence of spiritual beings around her. Her
As you do.
grandfather's like, so you got this talent, right?
Yes.
You're not just going to use this talent for whatever you want to do. You're going to use it for cool stuff. Here's a whip. You're going to learn how to use it so you can kill stuff, okay? And then
Okay.
Sonia is 17 years old. She meets a young man named Alucard. Does that sound familiar to you?
Oh, who's Alucard? Totally not angsty teenager who doesn't like his dad.
Apple Cart.
Alucard, who was searching for his father, whom he never met. They formed a bond together. Ominous. Unfortunately,
Ominous.
the man where Sonia was raised was attacked by grotesque monsters serving Count Dracula.
Oh,
She
again,
shows up.
as it happens.
As it happens. So she shows up, grandfather's mortally wounded. He's like, I'm dying. It's time
What?
for your power to be unleashed. Use the whip, kill Dracula. And then he dies. Like, sounds cool.
It's like, hey,
I-
instructions unclear. How do I do that? Mm.
Comes back to life. Just like, I don't know, dies again. I don't-
God, we should never write a story because it would never take itself seriously.
Story.
Like characters would
Lord.
just randomly come back to life and just be like, you fucking idiot! You're supposed to do it like this. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what
Now
happened?
I can
I thought you,
Now I can die for
yeah.
you.
I did die, but your sheer incompetence brought me back to life.
Your sheer incompetence. Oh my god. You were so fucking stupid that I had to come back in life and just tell you how inadequate you are. And here's how you do it now.
Here's how you do it. mansion, you win. That doesn't answer anything. But here's what she actually did. So she's just working her way through this mansion. She's slaying several of monsters, including Dracula's eternal servant, Death.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets their souls, so she can get their special abilities. Kind of like Soma, which is weird. We're just gonna it's fine.
It's almost like people recycle ideas.
Yeah, it's like they took this Game Boy idea and was like, let's give it to a teenage boy. Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
Sonia's
Yeah, that
working away.
sounds good.
She's getting better and better at everything because she already trained for this, so she's just training more. She gets to Castle Keep and she's not greeted by Dracula, but Alucard. She's
Ooh,
like, "Why are you here?"
love
And
tension.
he's like, "Why are you here?" Well, yeah,
I mean, you think I'm
There's a
joking,
drama.
but as somebody who's
Yeah.
watched the entirety of Vampire Knight and read the manga, vampire drama's nice, is all I'll say.
Yes.
he's like, "Why are you here?" She's like, "Well, why are you here? Uh, you know, your father could probably kill everybody." And he's like, "No, this fight isn't for you. I have to kill my father." She's like, "Of course, no. I have to avenge my grandfather. As Dracula was granted demonic powers, I'm going to kill him. Because I was given this cool power to sense stuff. What do you expect me to do with it?"
No,
Other
I'm
than
Ingo
kill him.
Montoya. No, I'm Ingo Montoya.
I get to
And
be
I-
protagonist too. No, I do.
Alucard's like, "Alright then, I'm gonna challenge you to a duel." They fight inside the throne room of Dracula's castle, and she wins.
Dracula's
He's
just
like-
watching this.
Oh, he's not there, unfortunately.
He's
No,
like,
would've
just,
been funny.
what the fuck are you guys doing in my chambers? This is private.
Like, are you fighting a Belmont? Is that a female Belmont? Finally! God!
They're
It's time to
fighting
get-
over who gets to fight you.
Oh, finally, a
Oh,
Belmont that's not stuck in a wimp.
Cool, I play winner.
I play.
I play winner.
Use
It's
a
like they're like playing
dungeon.
Twister. He's like, I play winner.
He pulls out a Twister board. He's like, right foot red.
Right with the green.
Yeah, that's a reference to Starbomb. Totally.
Yeah.
One twist.
Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Ricard
what's okay.
loses, and he's like, "Wow, I guess I learned a lesson." She's like, "I'm sorry for hurting you, but I gotta like kill your dad." And he's like, "It's fine. I'm just gonna go seal myself away. I don't want to watch my dad die." He'll do it in another
Wait,
game.
what?
And he does it.
I don't want to watch my dad die, despite that being the entire fucking point why I'm here.
Symphony of the Night.
Change. It changed.
he's like,
I guess it's just
I'll
because I'm
see
not the protagonist right now.
Not today.
protagonist, so he doesn't need to watch Dracula die. You're not allowed to do that. So he's like, "I'll never forget you." And he's like, "I'm gonna go put myself in a coffin forever now." She's like, "Cool." And then the floor crumbles.
It's like,
never
I'm
forget
probably
you,
gonna forget
right?
you.
And there's a caverns below, and there's a minotaur, and she kills it because she's the best. You find herself
She's
in
the
the kitchen.
best.
It's for some reason under the throne room. And she gets in there, and Dracula's like, "What's up? You're the first human to get here. That's cool.
Good job.
Yeah, good job." There's like, "I'm gonna kill you because your power killed so many people." He's like, "Yeah, probably.
Good luck.
That's kind of my job.
Probably.
Humans do more than that, and I'm just one dude."
I mean,
He's like,
yeah, those should be
"Oh,
fair.
you're so you
Got a good
can't
point.
determine your fate." And then he's like, "Hey, you want to join me?" No.
Yo,
Oh,
that,
man.
that's the thing. I would love to just see a villain who literally just does fucking nothing. Because his entire thing is like, humans are all gonna kill each other off anyway, so I don't need to do anything. And like, there's just a superhero that stands up, or protagonist that comes up to stop him, and he's like, I'm not doing anything. But he's like,
I am just sitting here looking evil.
I literally just have an evil mansion
Evil.
inside of a cliff, but that's pretty much it. Why are you here again? Like, aren't you
That
trying to take over the world? It's like, no, I want the extermination of all life. Well, isn't that a reason to fight you? It's like, no, because I don't need to do anything. I already built my doomsday device. It's called People.
It's already there, dude. Like, can't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Let it go.
I mean, if that wasn't enough for you, there's another doomsday device I have in play. It's a little thing I call Death. It's pretty
Now-
inevitable for most people.
Huge
It's my
fan of that
favorite
guy.
character. So Dracula's like, yeah, I use my power for personal gain. You want to be
So
a
what?
follower? Yeah, I use my power for personal gain. It's not that big of a deal. You want to be one of my followers? She's like, no, I have to kill you, but challenge you to a battle? Sure. So she
Go.
wins because she's a Belmont. He's like, don't let it go to your head. I will always come back when there's humans. She's like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna continue the Belmont line. Salutes him in a mocking manner and escapes the castle and watches it crumble. Now here's the big twist that like punched me in the face when I was reading this. After some time, it's revealed that Sonia gave birth to a child that resulted from her past relationship with Alucard. So
What?
she was fighting through that entire game pregnant
What?
with Alucard's
What?
child.
Um,
Carry on the tragedies of
What?
Belmont with the bloodline of dark ways.
wow, that sounds even more screwed up than the Brando bloodline in JoJo. Which I don't know if
Where?
you guys know this, but the Brando bloodline is both like the JoJo Star bloodline, but also not the JoJo Star bloodline. I don't want to say too much because SpongeBob is still. I don't know if you finished part one actually, because all you really need is part
I
one.
did.
Yeah, so
finish
essentially
part
at the end of part one, Brando fuses his head to Joseph Joestar. So like any child of the Joestar line is both the child of Dio Brando and also Joseph Joestar. Actually, I don't think it's Joseph. I think it's Jonathan is the first one. Essentially, like
Yeah, I want to say this, John.
yeah. So essentially, like everyone is related to Jonathan Joestar, which is confusing, but also everyone's related to Dio at the same time. It's the entire reason of like when people gain stands in the Joestar line, it's because Dio gained a stand, and for whatever reason, when people are blood related to people, and one person awakens a stand, like it causes a chain reaction of other people in close blood relation to also awaken the stand. Because that's how bloodline
Alright.
works, apparently. It works back up through the bloodline chain, not down. I mean, to be fair, it does both, but
Yeah.
You know.
Another reason why Castlevania is just the bizarre adventure of JoJo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she is no longer canon. She is her own canon, where Alucard fathered a child that would be a Belmont, which I think is the ultimate slap in the face to Dracula.
I
I
mean,
wish she was canon.
JoJo did the same thing. They made their own continuity. They're like, this continuity is now over. Here's new continuity. All that stuff happened. It's just different continuity. It's all same canon. Just the stories didn't happen in this one.
Yep.
My favorite part is that it's Bloody Tears as the music theme, and I love Bloody Tears.
It exists. It doesn't anymore.
It's like I decided no on having continuing the same universe. It's just boring. Now we have a multiverse for no reason.
Multiverse.
How do I handle a multiverse again? Hey, let's bring Nippon Ichi into this. I think they have some ideas.
Unfortunately, the reason she was removed was because someone didn't like the idea of like the guy like Koji Igarashi, which I'm pretty sure is like the director or something.
So he would rather have somebody somehow procreating with the wife whip.
He didn't like the idea of having a female protagonist in the respective time period that Castlevania Legends takes place in, since it didn't quite fit with the motifs of a vampire story. Legends remains something of an embarrassment for the series.
I don't know. So far, it
Yes.
seems better than Life Whip.
Yeah, it does. But does Katie Vidian go to 2?
It goes to it's a 30-minute segment, so technically we should start wrapping it up because I think you started
Yeah,
around
it's
like
137.
I think she started like at 114 or like 107 or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was like around 107.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any sort of closing remarks on that one?
She is one of the only two lead protagonists that are female. The other one is Shanoa.
Shanoa.
Yeah.
Noah is from some other like Order of Ecclesia. Weird.
Yeah,
name.
I mean, to be fair, bringing in a female protagonist into any series that just has protagonist swapping a lot is always kind of hard because it's either like stupid easy or you're doing it for reasons that you shouldn't be doing it for, and then it becomes very controversial. Sometimes it just becomes controversial just because.
I feel like Castlevania would be the one game that you could probably get a female protagonist in fairly easy due to the fact that you can just do a different Belmont for every game.
Mhm.
So eventually one of them's going to be a female.
Yeah.
Like, one of the firstborn is going to be a female who's going to take up the whip.
Because, like, again, I hate pointing at JoJo when we talk about Castlevania, but literally JoJo had a female protagonist. I had no fucking problems with it. It was totally fine, because that's the entire fucking point of JoJo, is, like, carrying on a bloodline. And, you know, next, it's about, like, legacy, and who fucking carries on from here. So having a female protagonist, and not just, like, a random, oh, hey, it's a girl. She's pretty hardcore and even gets framed for murder, so.
Yeah, like if a female Belmont comes in and she's like made the same way the other ones were, where it's just like her fiance gets kidnapped, or like sister gets kidnapped if they really just don't want to have a male in distress because they're dumb. They don't want Dracula to seem like a homo, which I personally would be fine.
Yeah,
Dracula
I mean, yeah.
bisexual.
As long as like it fits into the story and you're not just like being like, oh hey, female protagonist. We look at that. It's a female protag. Guys, look, female protag.
They reveal Dracula was bisexual the whole time, and he just starts taking people's husbands.
I mean, apparently he had something for Mathis or something like that, or he was Mathis. I forget.
He was Math.
Yeah.
He was Math. He wanted Leon.
Yeah.
It's like, Leon, join me, and Leon's like, no, I have a wife. He's like, fine then.
But
yeah.
I have the Dracula.
We could have shared coffins together.
Yeah.
Oh, I get to share a bed. A lot more comfortable.
I don't know. I love how our reading of Dracula has made him homosexual.
He was the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, as long as, like, it just, you slot it in and you don't be like, hey, it's a thing, like, it is totally cool, you can always get away from it. I think, like, stuff that just doesn't do it well is stuff like, Doctor Who, where they were just kind of like, hey everyone, female protag,
Yeah, that's fair.
And they just didn't do
Yeah.
any extra shenanigans. Like they just did what they did for the other ones. There's the Doctor.
Yeah,
And we're moving on.
I would have totally been fine with it. I mean, I have nothing against that current Doctor. I mean, the only thing I have against it is just the storyboard writers are not the best. And the showrunner, I'm not a big fan of where they're taking stuff in their current direction, because it's just kind of like they're really just doing that thing in like social justicing where they're like, hey, gay character or female character or Person
Just
of
being like,
color?
the-
Anyone? Person of color?
Yeah.
Yeah? No?
Or they do it for brownie points instead of just doing it because
Yeah,
the
like,
character.
if you're ever writing any story, like, your character should be that thing for just because, like, we go back to the same kind of thing where I was talking about, like, with Marvel, where they had a, um, Miles Morales, who is kind of just African American Peter in some stories, but other stories, like, he's just his own person, and he's actually great. Like, he's
Actually, so.
Definitely, like in the beginning when they first introduced him, he was just a different Parker. But
yeah, he
they've
was
they've
Parker of color.
now.
Yeah, like they definitely made him a different person because like his family is still alive. He still has
Mhm.
his parents. He lives in Brooks instead of Queens, which is a different background. He actually goes to a school for gifted children, which they kind of gave to Spider-Man in the MCU, but or Peter Parker, but at the same time, like it's still a different life. Peter Parker had his own life. He was, you know, a weird, angsty teenager who had to deal with teenager stuff.
Yeah.
And then he went to college and he accidentally killed Gwen Stacy. And
Bit of a snarky dick at times.
yeah, again, he
Especially
accidentally
with the
killed
original
Gwen
one.
Stacy. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh hey,
But
Mary Jane Watson. Let's
Gwen
hook up."
Stacy is the better of the two.
I mean, I think Gwen Stacy is only popular because she got killed.
That's true, but I did like her a lot more.
I personally like Gwen Stacy a lot more. I also love Spider Gwen, like my favorite thing in the world. Um,
Yeah, they did it really good with that.
yeah, I also like Spider Gwen because I like how Peter Parker is just not random love interest. Like he actually went crazy and became, the Lizard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
One of those-
that's like super fair and interesting. It gives some depth to like where Parker was at that time.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't just like he's Spider-Man 2, love interest. Oh, he died. Them fighting
Yeah,
together.
well, like no, like he could have easily become the villain because that was the entire point of like Peter Parker is like he was trying to become a hero, but he didn't know what being a hero meant. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
I
just
don't know
had
if you
that
know
constant
this.
struggle of it.
His first comic, like he was literally just making money by appearing on TV.
Yep.
Like he
I
was
do know
literally
that.
selling himself as a freak show to
Mhm.
make money and
Yeah,
fame.
because that was the natural reaction to do it to
Yeah,
getting power.
I mean-
I can make money off this.
Yeah, and like the only reason why he became a superhero is because he literally just let a guy run past him who ended up killing his uncle, and he's like,
Didn't he kill that guy?
I don't
Only one of
remember.
I want to say in like the original run of the comics, it's one of the few people he ever intentionally killed.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the first run of the comic too wasn't really trying to have him as a superhero. He was more supposed to be like a horror story protagonist.
Yeah, because that was in like Amazing Fantasy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once they actually gave it its own comic line, it started to kind of start shifting into that a bit more, but
Yeah.
still pulled through a lot of the internal struggle,
Mhm.
like teeter-tottering on the scale here and there.
Yeah,
type
and
thing.
then, but anyways, the entire point of the conversation is Miles Morales, like African American character who's done well. There's no, at least not anymore. There's no like flag pointing to him. He has personality, character. He's a human being with his own life and own like this is how I do things. Which is how you
dreams,
should handle a
aspirations.
legacy character. Like a legacy character should never walk in the footsteps of their hero. Like they should try and strive to be forever close to it, but at the same time they should develop their own ideas and concepts and really push boundaries in their own character. Another reason why I like
Yeah.
JoJo is because all of the protagonists in that series, like they're wildly different.
Mm-hmm.
SpongeBob, how far you finished Phantom Blood? You told me that. Have you started on Tendencies yet?
I was probably going to tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, Battle Tendencies should finish pretty quickly because it's literally just second season, or not even second season. It's part 2 of the first season of the JoJo anime. So it should take as long as the first part did for you.
I might just read it because I can get through it faster.
I wouldn't recommend it. Battle Tendencies
would
is
not recommend it?
long and convoluted, and I would say just watch the anime. It's gonna be a faster experience, and they do better at handling all the tedious bits. I mean, you're more than free to read Battle Tendencies, especially since if you were fine with Phantom Blood, you might be fine with Battle Tendencies. Battle Tendencies as
Yeah.
like a reading experience is considered kind of one of like the lesser bits of JoJo. Like one of the you should read it till it just gets good part.
Alright.
And the anime fixes
I'll
a
just
lot
watch
of the the anime kind of fixes a lot of the bits and helps kind of keep it more streamlined. Again, you're
For
more
sure.
than free to read Battle Tendencies, the manga, but like I said, it is quite long, it is quite convoluted, and it does kind of And you'll find that a lot for a lot of the JoJo stuff. Like the anime is a little bit easier to understand for certain things. Not naming any names, King Crimson. I mean, it is a long-running meme in the fan community of what the fuck is King Crimson? Like, what the hell does he do?
Yeah.
Because the manga can't really explain it. Because his ability is literally like erasing time. But
It's all
erasing time is kind of hard to do in a manga because there's no like you're already kind of erasing time and jumping forward in segments. You're creating the in between each panel. So
Yeah.
that the in between erasing time doesn't make any sense. Um whereas like in an anime, like it gives you this is what happens in between each and every panel. And then hey,
Yeah.
look, time just disappeared and skipped.
Right.
So, I mean, and generally, like, the anime is pretty good. I love the openings for a lot of their stuff.
Alright.
I mean, you remember Phantom Blood opening. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It gets better. It does get better.
Alright. Good to know.
My personal favorite is Diamond Unbreakable, currently, as far as openings go. Yeah. Wow.
Alright.
Was that a JoJo reference? Just kind of crawls into my life a lot for no reason.
Fair.
I mean, hey, it happens.
Oh yeah, of course. It's stuff like that.
What was I thinking? I was thinking something, but yeah. Oh yeah, I was trying to talk about African American, or even like just the way characters get handled or mishandled. And the legacy character for Iron Man, I always forget her name because she's uninteresting, and she's bland, and she's
I
just
genuinely did not know there was a legacy character for Iron Man.
yeah, it's literally a African American girl, and it is literally just, you know, raising a flag and saying, "Hey, female woman of color, Iron Man, everyone." Eh, eh, eh.
Not the way to do it.
That is not the way to do it, especially with the way like
It's not.
Iron Man's themes run in being like, if Peter Parker was like, "How do you be a hero?" Iron Man's thing is like, how do you deal with the stress of being a hero? How do you
Yeah.
actually, you know, be a hero? Which again is pretty much the same thing as Peter Parker, but there's like a nuanced difference because Iron Man like deals with a lot of heavy like, what the heck am I doing? kind of moments. You don't really see that a lot in
Yeah.
the movies, but like in the comics, he definitely throws himself into crap, and he gets drunk and parties and just kind of goofs off because he doesn't know how to handle his own
Yeah.
fuck ups.
I don't know how to be man.
Yeah,
But I'm Iron Man.
Drown sorrow and
I mean,
I'm
and that's the
just
entire
Iron now.
appeal of like Marvel comics is like it's not you're not getting a superhero story, you're getting a personal story about somebody being a superhero. Yes, they are a superhero. Yes, they do superhero stuff. But the important stuff is not the superheroing, it's the, you know, how it actually affects the person, living that normal
Yeah.
life.
It's not like just the action and not really much else that follows. It's
Mhm.
like all of the things that like weigh onto the battle and the battle after
Yeah.
it, or internal struggle type stuff.
I mean, if you do want like more like just Battle of the Week monsters being superheroes, the best you can really get with that is X-Men. But even X-Men is still very like personal struggles. It also deals with very, obvious
Oh yeah, no,
race
X-Men can be
issues.
super.
Yeah.
I mean that's actually probably out of like all of the cinematic ones, it's probably like the franchise that I think would probably has done the most with it.
Yeah, I mean, the entire point of, well, I wouldn't say the entire point, but a lot of the point of the mutants was to be social commentary on race issues.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they've been trying to do that with a lot of different things. I don't know if before or after, because I don't remember the timeline on a lot of the stuff. But I don't know if anybody remembers the Inhumans,
I do. Vaguely.
which is also social commentary. But it doesn't work because Inhumans kind of choose to be Inhumans. They're not just born in as mutants or as Inhumans,
Yeah.
which really takes away a lot of the social commentary because people don't choose to be born as a person of color or as male or female. You don't get a character creation window and be like, well, this is the character I'm going to be playing for the next 100 years. It's,
Yeah.
oh hey, I'm exist now as this,
I
this,
am
and
the
this
first.
traits. I mean, trust me, I will love it if we could, like, before we're born, have a character creation window and just create our characters.
Yeah.
It would be very nice. It would definitely not eliminate a lot of the issues we have in the world, but definitely mitigate quite a few of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, the important thing with mutants is they don't choose to be mutants. They're born like that. In a lot of the cases, like, mutants even can take it a one step further because, a lot of times they don't know they're mutants for a large part of their
Yeah.
life. Some people don't even discover they're mutants until, like, they're in their 30s. And it just
Mhm.
happens.
Oops.
Yeah, which is
Another house on fire.
Oh, careful. But which is
Everyone
like
in the house is dead.
it's definitely true for like people too, because like people don't discover their ethnicities all at once. A lot of the times it's a post discovery, and usually when you discover it in post, like it is a very for a lot of people like how does that fit into my identity, and then choosing
Yeah.
whether or not you're gonna fit it into your identity or not as a human being, which is there. It also works as like a story of puberty and coming of age, because, well, random teenagers developing superpowers randomly, very relatable somehow.
Yep.
And last but not least, my favorite bits are you have the mutants who are just born gods among men of ungodly powers.
Yeah.
Like, Gwenpool, anyone? Gwenpool?
Anyone?
I mean, Gwenpool's a very, very slippery slope because she is both a mutant and not a mutant.
Yeah.
because she definitely got retconned into being a mutant.
For sure.
But she's also like can be written as a different character. They really just kind of soft reset her and be like, well, you're free to write her however the fuck you want because her backstory is now ambiguous. Doesn't matter. I mean, despite her entire backstory supposed to being like, hey, I am real human from real Earth. And
Yeah.
I made machine to end up in Marvel Universe. Ooh. What's my superpower? Well, I know everything about the Marvel Universe except Deadpool. He felt too lolsy memes, and I didn't really like his comics. But everybody else, I know everything. True story. Gwenpool was never meant to be Deadpool. She was always meant to be just her own character.
Yep.
And then they made her that way.
Sometimes they write her that way. Sometimes she's just a murder hobo, and sometimes she's not.
Murder hobo. The whole ordeal turned me into a hobo.
I mean,
It's
I
fine.
would definitely, like, in a D&D terms, phrase Deadpool as a murder hobo.
I don't want to be a hobo. Oh.
What if I just want to murder without being a hobo?
But yeah, murder hobo is definitely a thing that people have sometimes.
That's fair.
That's not the best of things.
No, definitely not.
But anyways, he is a thing, and people. I mean, I like Deadpool, but I like Deadpool for a completely different reason. I like Gwenpool. I like Gwenpool because she definitely is probably like the most normal person in the Marvel universe until she discovers she has the ability to retcon anything she wants, which is a bullshit superpower, just in general. But before that, she's very just. I'm a normal person. I have no superpowers. I'm not a Batman because I don't have the training or capabilities. I mean, she even went out to try and kill Paste Pot Pete, which I don't know if you know who that is, but he is like very low level villain who's literally his thing is he just spreads paste on shit. So
If Hunter was a villain.
Hunter would be very competent at a
everything.
villain. He just comes off as incompetent. I would say more
Yeah,
of like
exactly.
yeah, Pastepot Pete is like he comes off as not being incompetent, but he is incompetent.
Kind of like the Riddler in the Batman universe.
Yeah, exactly like the Riddler.
Where he's like, I am super smart and intelligent. It's like, this is a stupid riddle. What?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gwenpool couldn't even deal with Pastepot Pete, so. Meanwhile, she's also able to put most Marvel Avengers, not even Marvel Avengers, most Marvel characters on an island and force them to fight to the death. So.
Nice.
Just didn't know much about the paste guy. Never heard of him before.
I mean, she knew a lot about Pastepot Pete. She just wasn't able to off him. Oh, man.
Wow.
I think I've pointed everyone should read Amazing Gwenpool, but yeah, Amazing Gwenpool, you should read it. It's probably the best run of a character I will ever have before she got ruined. Like the whole thing with her costume, like she doesn't have pants, is because there wasn't enough material to make pants. So she just has like, the leotard.
Yeah.
She has her own army of goons because she was able to off what's the guy who's just a giant head called again?
MODOK?
MODOK. Yeah, because she was able to off MODOK and take over his position. through very extraneous means. Her boyfriend's a ghost
Yeah.
because I forget how he dies, but she resurrected him and now he's a ghost.
He's a spooky ghost.
Yeah. I don't know. Amazing Gwenpool. Everyone should read it. It is amazing. You get some of the best interactions because again, if you're a person who gets put off by like stuff like Deadpool where it's just like lolsy memes, because
Yeah.
Deadpool is very lolsy memes, Gwenpool pretty much does the same thing of being like fourth wall break interactions with other characters, but again, because she has like that perspective of just being a normal fucking human being, like it comes off a lot more naturally than being like, hey, I am a superhuman who breaks the fourth wall and I'm able to pull guns out of literally nowhere.
Yeah. I like Deadpool, but I can only handle him in very small doses.
I mean, I like Deadpool too, but again, I enjoy Deadpool for completely different reasons than I enjoy stuff like Gwenpool.
For
Because
sure.
they're two very different characters. Well, depending on the showrunner that you're reading from, they're two very different characters. Sometimes they are the same character, and that's kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
But hey,
But
um,
that's just
I'm a little bit tuckered out and heading on the decline here. But
That's
yeah,
past 2.
it is past 2, and that's what I was about to say. Is I think that's a good place to kind of shelve it for this evening,
I think so too.
because I'm about to pass out. To be honest,
Alright.
no, don't do that.
hopefully I get a birthday tomorrow or today, and I kind of dropped a couple hints that I really wanted an ice cream cake. I dropped a couple hints. I mean, I straight out said I wanted ice cream cake.
That's fair.
What's
Violently
next?
throws ice cream
What are you
cake
gonna
at Jake.
Throws ice cream cake at my monitor. Take it!
I mean, I love ice cream cake. Not that that's what I should be talking about here, but ice cream cake is delicious.
Good way to close everything.
Yeah, I mean, something about
Delicious.
lemons, guys. Ice cream cake. Actually, lemon cake is also really great. If you got
Lemon
lemons,
cake is
make
really
a
good.
lemon cake. Oh my god. Lemon cake is amazing. I used to make lemon cake.
Oh, that sounds so good now. I might buy some mix tomorrow.
Oh, I made it from scratch, but yeah, it is great.
Better, I'll probably look up a recipe for it then.
Yeah.
Right now I got work tomorrow, I won't have time.
Oh, that sucks. You should have moved up here, and I love cooking. So if I have an excuse to make stuff, like I will make stuff.
I mean, if I can secure a lot better of a job that's not minimum wage, then
Yeah. I mean, dude, I get it. Minimum wage is definitely a killer, especially since like minimum wage here is like 11.25, which is I believe
Yeah.
less than what it is in California.
12.
12. That's not that big of a difference. I thought it was like 14 in California or something like that.
I think it's supposed to go to like 13 next year.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like depending on what you're doing, it's definitely, eh. I can tell you now, the company I worked for before, ITSC, they bumped it up to $18 starting out wages for people,
Dang.
which just tells you how desperate they are for manpower. How
Yep.
terrible that job is.
Yeah, no, it's I want to say it's $12.50 here, but I actually get like 50 cents higher, so I get 13.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but if you ever want to do it, $18 an hour, which is pretty fucking good money. Don't know if that's a way to throw away your mental conceptions about shit, but for some people it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I'm willing to look past a lot of things as long as I'm getting paid to look past it.
I mean, yeah, I
How long am
post.
I willing to look past it though? Is the
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, here's where I'm at with it. Is like I'm never going back to the job, even if they double the amount to $36 an hour. Still not gonna work there. But if I was just starting out, like I'd never worked there, but I knew kind of what I know now, I probably would work there for $18 an hour.
That's fair.
I mean, considering I worked there for $13 an hour.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, like I was actually spending a lot of money on Postmates and Uber at the time. Well, technically
Yeah.
Lyft because Lyft's a little bit cheaper. Um, so I definitely was spending a lot of money, but I still had more than enough to pay rent every month.
Yep.
So again,
So you-
I'm not gonna force the decision on you, mostly because it's your decision and your financial. I don't know why we're talking
Yeah.
about this on stream, but it's your decision, your financial situation. And like I don't want to push anybody off a cliff when they're not ready. I mean, sometimes you
I
need
mean, yeah,
that
of course. But
in your life, but at the same time, like you're in a really stable position with a stable
am,
job, and like if you are not going to have any issues in the near future, you probably shouldn't. You know,
yeah.
at the same time, it's up to you. Also, I'm looking at your character, and there's a pixel that's off.
Alright.
No.
Where is it? Like, where is it
It's
off?
on the right eye. There's part of the drop shadow.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Now that I see it, I'm like,
No.
oh, that should go up 1 pixel.
No.
And I kinda, oh, I'm thinking of just how I'd like edit this a little bit. Here's the thing about pixel art: is the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you kind of see mistakes like that, or the more you want to edit mistakes like that.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, that's just where we're gonna put it.
It's fine for now.
I mean, hey, that's something about lemons, I guess.
Yeah.
Tying it all back in. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna close the curtain for this evening.
Yeah, actually close it this time.
Yeah, I actually close it. Hopefully, you guys had a good time, able to fill in the witching hours for you. I mean, if not, if you were watching this at some other time of the day, always feel free to join us. Like I said, Tuesday and Thursday Pacific Standard Time, from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. It's real early in the morning, but again, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know if we have any other things going on. Again, we have talked about plans about doing, Let's Plays and whatnot, at least for the YouTube channel.
I think we're
But-
more so in concept stage at that
we're
point.
still on concept stage on that point. I think the big part about it right now is really just we have two people's lives that really just need to settle down. I don't know if that's changed for the other person, but I know me personally, my life is still kind of hectic, and I need to, when I have a stable source of income, I think at that point I'm more than free to want to do Let's Plays.
Yeah.
And the other person really is just a matter of free time. And I don't,
Mhm.
you two, I think you started working again,
Mhm.
so you have stuff going, and Billy Steenstein, his life is the life of a teenager, so technically
it's
always
not-
has free time.
Not like a super huge thing, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked that, not that job specifically, but I've worked jobs like that, so I know what
Yeah.
it's like. But yeah, anyways, thank you for joining us. Like I said, you can catch us on those hours. Otherwise, feel free to watch all of our previous podcasts on YouTube if you're watching this on Twitch, and you want to have access to more content. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, I don't think we have any other plans moving forward. I've thought about doing some sort of video formats for my own YouTube channel, but again, a lot of our ideas right now are just concept stage. So, with all of that being said, have a great rest of your evening.
Yep.
Joy.